I've always wondered why Nickelodeon completely handed over the keys to their network to Fred in the late 2000s to the early 2010s. Lucas Cruikshank, otherwise known as Fred, made his first appearance on Nick in 2009, guest starring on iCarly. At the time, this cameo made sense because iCarly was a show about being famous on the internet, and Lucas was the most famous person on YouTube at the time. What some thought was a one-off appearance on the network proved to be exposure therapy for the trauma that Nickelodeon would be forcing upon their viewers the next few years. The 2010 release of Fred the movie was met with low critical acclaim, receiving a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 39% audience score. Fred the movie was so trash to the point where Jennette McCurdy decided to turn down being a part of the second Fred movie after starring in the first one. Instead of rewriting Jennette McCurdy's character out of the script, they decided to make Daniela Monet from Victorious the next victim of the Fred franchise by recasting her as Jennette McCurdy's character. The reviews were far worse on Fred 2 Night of the Living Fred. The critics didn't even rate it on Rotten Tomatoes, and the audience score was lower. I believe it was a 38%. 1 year after the second Fred movie, Nickelodeon decided to give Fred his own show that lasted only 1 season and 20 episodes. And within the same year of the release of Fred the show, Nickelodeon decided that we didn't have enough Fred content for the year, so they decided to give us Fred 3, Camp Fred. And yes, they decided to make it a camp-themed sequel because those have proven to do well. Wish they were right. Not really, but relative to how the movies have performed, Fred 3 Camp Fred was the best received by the audience. The critics quit rating the movies after the first one because they thought it was a waste of time. And we're not done yet because Nickelodeon decided to give Lucas another sitcom at the end of 2012 titled Marvin Marvin, which, like his other show, only lasted 1 season. Honestly, I'm surprised that this show only lasted 1 season because it was top-tier comedy.
Hello, I'm Marvin, the human boy. Did I win?
In the 3-year span of Nickelodeon releasing Lucas's failed movies and failed TV shows, he became the most polarizing thing on TV. He was Nickelodeon's version of Barney. The only explanation I can make out of Nickelodeon greenlighting all of Lucas's flopped projects was that Lucas signed a contract with Nickelodeon that included a 3-movie deal, and he had to be the star in 2 sitcoms. If this is true, he had Nickelodeon by the nuts. If this deal actually went down, how can anyone blame Lucas regardless of how good any of his projects were? And I can't hate on Lucas at all because, one, we're both from Nebraska and I could just so happen to run into him and it could be on site. And he also seems pretty self-aware on how atrocious the Fred movies are, as he's posted multiple reactions to them